We've had more lockdown than the rest of the world. We've had more lockdown.
Wow.
We have.
No, the UK. No, I tell you, I've got mates in the UK, and they would love to be in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Avia Mini here in Melbourne, Australia for Rebel News. Today, we're at the Melbourne Magistrates Court for one of our fightthefines.com.au cases. Well, this is a case you haven't heard about, even though we've had it going for months. We just haven't had the time to tell you. This is Shane's story.
I was just going to the Coles to buy some eggs, Gisborne groceries, which is one of the reasons why we could be out. And while I was walking to Coles, which was only about 300 metres away, I observed 4 police officers, and they had a male in handcuffs. So I thought it was reasonable there and then to stop as just civic duty, pretty much, to document what was going on, especially with the police and their heightened powers at the moment. And in doing so, they did release the gentleman after 45 minutes, and then they proceeded to walk across the road and virtually immediately issued me with a $1,658 fine.
It's unbelievable. His crime really is holding police accountable in a time that we need people to hold police accountable. But we're not letting this go. And with your help at fightthefines.com.au, we're going to fight for him. Today you had your mention. This is a second mention. Madeline from fightthefines.com.au has represented you. We have now a contest hearing. So we're actually finally going to fight this on what date?
The 27th of August. So
27th of August, and this happened
28th of August 2020. So it's been nearly a year before it gets contested.
Now, were you breaching the COVID restrictions?
No, I was not. I complied with the restrictions the whole way through. Didn't leave home for any other reason than what was required, you know what I mean? And when I did, and as I said, I seen something that I felt the public would be interested in. It had to be recorded, it had to be documented, you know what I mean? And in the result, I've been fined for it. So prepared to fight it the whole way, you know what I mean? Not going to pay this fine, and I'm going to stick to my guns. And from now on, everywhere I go, I'll see the police officers, I'm going to be recording them.
Even if you're willing to, can you afford that $1,652 fine?
Definitely not. Cannot afford it. Yeah, I mean, I've got no means to pay it. I do live in public housing. At the end of the day, if it comes down to I have to pay it, I'll be going to jail for it. If there's a warrant or something for arrest, then so be it. Just to have Rebel and everybody as the support behind me, it does take a lot off my shoulders, and I do feel like there are people backing me. So that's what it comes down to. And I've got to say thank you to Madeline, Harvey, Rebel News, a whole lot of you guys.
Most importantly, it's not just us. There are people who don't even know your face, for months have been really footing the bill by donating at fightthefines.com.au, and there are people that are going to watch your story now and that are going to get behind helping pay for not only the 2 mentions we've had now, but also the contest hearing coming up. What would you like to say to those people?
Just everybody who's contributed to the fightthefines.com, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It does take a lot of pressure off those people who cannot afford to pay these unjust fines.
What would you say to somebody who watches this and goes, well, the fine itself is only $1,652. The whole matter to take in front of the court to cover the legal costs and all the costs associated is probably 10 times that, if not more.
That's correct.
What would you say to people saying, well, why don't you just crowdfund at least to pay your fine instead of fighting it?
It's the principle of the matter. I am not guilty of doing what they said, you know what I mean? It comes down to principle, you know what I mean? And if I'm a law-abiding citizen, if I did break the law or did commit a crime and I received an infringement and I felt that, yes, I did do it wrong, I would pay that fine, you know what I mean? It's simple as that. This fine is unjust. And as I said, I will fight it the whole way. You know what I mean? There's no giving up on this one.
Well, you don't have to worry because we've got your back, and everybody watching this at home have got your back. We are fighting. People are going to contribute to make sure that we can afford to go all the way as far as we have to go. And you're in good hands because Madeline has had a few wins in this exact court, but everyone there is right behind you.
All right. All I'm going to say is thank you very much, guys, and keep on following Rebel News.
And before we let you go, I know with your matter specifically, not long ago, you bumped into Fiona Patten at your housing complex, at the Commission Housing, that this happened. Tell us what happened there.
Well, Fiona Patten is my representative in my area. She come to the estate to do a walk around. So when she come through, I had an opportunity to ask her a question.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you sure can.
I'm going to record it if it's all right. 'cause
Yeah,
I've got
no
problems
problem.
retaining things and I've written it down as well.
Right.
In that footage that did unfortunately go black, but we can clearly hear the conversation. You tried to hold her responsible or get her to at least accept that she's partly, a big part, responsible in the fact that Victoria has become a police state, in the fact that she signed on to extend that state of emergency way past the original 6 months. Did she take responsibility?
Not at all.
We can't hold the police accountable in Victoria by holding the phone up
Yeah.
and recording them without being the phone grabbed off you, thrown to the ground because you're reporting on their events. There's a problem in this state. Yes,
Yeah.
in this area. There is.
They're certainly not allowed to do that.
Well, I do it.
I know.
All right.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do with it? You assisted in allowing Dan Andrews to make Victoria a police state. All right. I received a $1,650 fine for walking through the estate at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And I seen 4 police officers with a black male in handcuffs. And I sat there for 45 minutes and I filmed these police officers. They let him go eventually, right? For whatever reason, they walked straight over to me and they issued me with a $1,658 fine for recording the police during the course of their duties in the middle of COVID. All right, with their heightened powers. I can't afford $1,650.
No, of course you can't.
Right? I'm not going to pay it, so I'll probably end up with a warrant. You know what I mean? And this is just, you see it happening all the time. I seen a news reporter, he's not mainstream. He was reporting lockdown protests in the city. He was thrown to the ground.
Yeah, no, we saw that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One, if you want to, we'd be more than happy to represent, to see what we can do about your fine.
Have you heard back?
Unfortunately, no.
So it looks like we're going to actually have to fight this fine in the court behind you because you
Pretty much
can't
so.
rely on Fiona Patton. The only thing she's going to be good for is extending that state of emergency past December, isn't it?
Well, it seems so. Pretty much.
Well, you don't have to worry, even if she signs that on. We're standing side by side, you and me and the entire team at Rebel and every other person watching this right now.
All right, so all I can say is thank you very much, guys.
If you think this story is important, make sure to share it far and wide because it will not make it to the mainstream media. They don't care, it doesn't suit their narrative. And then, if you're willing and you're able, please help us by contributing to Shane's case and the dozens of others that we have here in this same court behind me at fightthefines.com.au. Again, fightthefines.com.au. We cannot do this without